All right, I am back. Um, so let's see. I think where we left off. Where is that section? Struggling to do something with this section. Um, I think I'm just gonna scrap this. That's why this is on easy. I just copy pasted everything over to easy because I made some changes while you were away. And I wanted to preserve these to show you, and also in case the changes were even worse than this, I can revert back to it. So jumping over to where I'm actually mapping. Oh, before I get too far into it, another thing I noticed is the BPM was just a wee bit off. I mean, I could be crazy, but okay. It was 120. Let me change it back to 120. And let's go back to the beginning of the map. Turn it down to half speed. And just kind of have a listen with the sound effect and the timing. Like, it seems pretty crisp, right? Then I copied that rhythm over to the end. It's not quite crisp, it's just like a little bit off. I mean, that could be my imagination, but then I kind of played with this a little bit, and I think I landed on just like a wee tiny bit below 120 BPM. And now it sounds more crisp to me. I don't know. This could just be all in my head. I don't know. But also I think it works better for what I mapped was some orb stacks, and the orb stack timing felt funny to me, just like a little tiny bit off, which is what got me onto that to begin with. But I think this sounds fine. Okay, so to give you an idea of what I'm trying to map there, turn the sound effects off and go back to normal speed. Oh, normal speed. Yeah, so there's this pair of quadruplets that I think is like a xylophone or something that gets introduced in this section. Like we kind of had like the basic rhythm, and then it's getting a little bit more complicated. And like now we have this sort of, yeah, I think that's a xylophone. Anyway, I thought that might be something to play with, and that might also be something to illustrate orb stacks, if I'm using that term correctly. And what are orb stacks? Like most things in life, it's hard to articulate a watertight definition, but it's sort of a series of orbs that are meant to be moved through in a smooth and continuous motion, I would say. Like I don't think the intention of this is to like bap all the notes. It's to go like smoothly right to left, left to right. And I might be getting a little bit soapboxy here at the moment, so bear with me. One thing I wanted to illustrate with this is that they play differently on rhythm than on force. So you imagine on rhythm, where you're basically just trying to catch the notes, you're not trying to hit the notes. Your hand starts here and it smoothly moves over to there, and then your other hand starts here and moves smoothly over to there. A force player looks at this and goes, oof, what do I do with this? Do I try to like maraca handshake my way through and bap all these notes? Like probably top to bottom, bottom to top, top to bottom, bottom to top. But these are pretty fast. That might be too much. Or do I just like wind up big and try to go bap 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 bap? Like just one big swing through all the notes. Either way, we're not in smoothly moving our hands through the motion land anymore. We're in like doing weird stuff that probably wasn't intended by the mapper. So that's one consideration when you're mapping things. Another consideration is that this functions very much like a rail. Rails are largely for like having your hand do smooth continuous motions, and orb stacks are largely for having your hands do smooth continuous motions. Except that an orb stack is harder than a rail, because if you botch any part of the orb stack, you lose combo. Whereas a rail, if you get a wee bit off the rail, you're not going to get full points for the rail, but at least you didn't lose combo. So, combination of those are why I don't do a lot of orb stacks, and why as a Force player I frankly don't like excessive orb stacking. But that said, a lot of mappers do orb stacks. The OST does orb stacks. I'm not gonna. This isn't a hill that I want to die on here. Okay, so if you feel like doing orb stacks, do orb stacks. I'm just kind of illustrating. Because it seems like another way to add variety to this otherwise potentially very repetitive map, but also for quote unquote educational purposes, I suppose. Drinking some coffee. Okay, so another. Okay, so to talk a little bit more, I play tested this a little bit. Into my experience, trying to do it on Force, I can usually perfect hit like 3 out of 4 of the notes. Usually either the first note or the last note. Like either I don't wind up enough and I don't get a perfect on the first note, or I wind up but I can't keep the velocity up enough to get a perfect hit on the last note. Maybe there's a way as a mapper to make all 4 notes perfect hittable on Force, or maybe I just not a good enough Force player. I don't know. But if you say spread the notes apart farther, the player can like get more velocity, but then you're making this into like a really big motion. If you put the notes closer together, you're making the motion less, but you're also slowing down the velocity because there's less displacement between each notes for the same amount of time. So that's probably going to make it harder to perfect hit all of these. But yeah, anyway. Likewise, another thing that you might see with orb stacks is what if instead of doing like 2 pairs, I just did like 1 continuous orb stack. You often see like these sort of circular orb stacks, I guess. Something like if we started there and went. Oh yeah, I can't drag without snapping to grid. Not sure why that is exactly. All right, let's put that one there. Maybe that one about there. Then like maybe that one about there. These probably aren't going to be perfectly spaced, kind of more of just making a point. And then rather than swapping hands, just kind of keep this orb stack going. Did I do 1? Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I like that as much, but just kind of illustrating like what one might do. If I were mapping this personally, some solutions if I wanted to keep the orb stacky like thing, I'm pretty okay with orb stacks that are timed and spaced like this in 3s. I actually do those a fair amount. 3s are quite swipeable if you put them like about 2 grid spaces apart. So I might just drop the last one off of each one, since the timing of the first one's more important than the timing of the last one. And just let those be like pairs of triplets rather than like a quadruplets, or just 8 continuous notes. Another possibility might be to break each of these quadruplets down into like 2 pairs, and just do like instead of 2 big swipes, do like 4 little swipes. That's another thing that I do a fair amount. But I think for demonstration purposes, I might just leave these in as they are. So yeah, it's sort of 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and then back to ba-dum ba-dum bum 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 ba-dum ba-dum bum, and kind of let that repeat. So I think that's where I landed on that section. And then we had the sort of I think yesterday I called these the wall dancing section. I think that's fairly apt. I'm not sure if I like the juxtaposition of this sort of relatively energetic handwork with the more sort of lopey, dancey, like slow big movements kind of thing. I'm not sure if I'm 100% on board with that, but I'm probably inclined to keep it again, or keep it in there since I wanted to demonstrate the orb stacking thing here, and B, I wanted to demonstrate the wall dancey thing there. This might be as good of a place as any to sort of demonstrate those. So I might just kind of move on. Do I want to put some decorative walls in here? I think oftentimes when I do orb stacky kind of things, I like to do one of these numbers. Turn snap to grid back on. Let's put, and you really want to put these walls low. I've learned that the hard way, where I go like, oh, let's put it there. Like, just kind of have it hug the node a little bit. But in actuality, in game, it's probably going to appear like there, and that's not what you're going for. So you know, just put it safely out of the way. For some reason, with center walls and with diagonal walls, if you rotate them and put them down low, they end up appearing quite a lot higher than you might expect. So yeah. Okie doke. So copy, paste, nudge them both a little bit. Copy, paste, move them over to. Copy, paste, move them over to. Move them over. Come on, buddy. Oh, wait. There. Okay. And then drag, copy, mirror, paste. I feel like that kind of visually conveys what's going on with a bit of wall decoration. Okay. And then maybe end it with what did I do back here at that part? Okay, yeah. I'll probably just kind of do something more or less like that here. Okay. Okay. And I think it's that guy that needs to get out of there, because the rhythm's a little bit different for the fourth repeat. Yep, that was the one. Okay. And then I think, oh yeah, that's right. I was kind of doing breaking down this into 4 sections that kind of alternate. So I will want to copy all this, because hackery, and mirror paste it all there. Okay. So we got, I don't know what to call these in music. If you call this an interlude, or Like it seems like it's sort of a nice little like, let's hit the reset button on the song kind of thing. Like, is the song over? Nope, it's not. It's just kind of starting again. Because the structure of it seems to kind of repeat as a whole, where it kind of goes like, you got the rhythm, and then you got one of these things again with the streams, and then a couple repetitions of the rhythm again. Seems to be a pretty emphatic beat on each of the measures. So I think I'm mentally breaking this down into like a set of 4 and a set of 3. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I might gold note these 3 just because they're very emphatic. It tends to be when I use gold notes. I don't think I use gold notes often as the sort of designed intent of like, let's do like a whole section of gold notes to mix things up. I don't know, just not my taste really. Usually I'll use gold notes when like the beat's real particularly heavy. But yeah. Okay, so set of 4, set of 3. What do I want to do with these? It might be satisfying to continue the wall dancing just a little bit. Like for the set of 4, and then maybe open it up for the set of 3. And then probably throw either a duck or a wall that shifts players to the opposite side of wherever they want to be for this measure during these 2 bars of silence. Because I don't want the player just kind of like standing there, probably. I don't know. That might be okay, might not be okay. Why not make them do something? Oh, right. Before I forget... no, maybe it was fine. I remember when I was messing around with this earlier that there being an awkward transition before these 2 parts. But this is looking fine, I think. Unless it was the other part where it's mirrored. I don't see why that would be. No, that's the same. Was it this transition here? Yeah, it was here. So yeah, this happens sometimes when you're a hack like me and you'll do a section and then you'll mirror paste the other section. You end up with some unintended transitions here, such as this where having the player reach across body into the wall with their left hand and following that up like... What the... This is another thing that the map editor does sometimes, where things start to appear like 1/64th of a beat off. it doesn't seem to actually be a thing, because if I just kind of like scroll around and then come back to it, see, it's fine. It's right on the measure again. So yeah, don't overreact when that happens. Where was I? Right. So yeah, it's doing that thing again. So yeah, having them reach across a body and then like half a measure later asking them to wind up and like bap through 4 notes might be a bit much. On rhythm, I don't know if a rhythm player would have a particular problem with this. It might still be a little tricky. And actually, if I stop and think about it, I don't know how annoying the whole reach into walls thing is for rhythm players. It's probably fine. I don't know. Maybe rhythm players can send me their hate mail, because I've been enjoying these a lot. Go play It's Tricky. Like the whole map is like reaching across a body into a wall. So yeah, I don't know. Anyhow, maybe I'll just switch the color of that. Even though I do like the reach across a body into a wall thing, this transition probably won't do. And that was in between the first set of those and the second set of those, and was a consequence of the mirror paste. So I think that's the only place where I'm gonna find a tricky transition, since there isn't a tricky transition here. Okay. There might be a little bit of a tricky transition here as I switch from the offbeat to the beat. Because either I start right here, which is like half a measure ahead, or I just kind of skip it and do like 1.5 measures, or I get rid of this, and then the last thing was back here, so that's going to be again like 1.5 measures. Because I was thinking I might just do like what I just say about loving the crossbody wall hits. I was thinking I might just do a series of 4 of those right here, but doing like one of them the other a half measure later is gonna be pretty annoying for the player. So what do I want to do exactly? I could just take out the wall there. That might do the trick. And then that should be fairly manageable, because the player's not trying to like move their whole friggin' body in a half a measure. They just, bop it here and bop it there in a half measure, which is a totally reasonable thing to do. So let's see. Is this what I want? No, I think I want to go crossbody with it. So let's do that. Let's get rid of that wall there. Having the player go crossbody and then crossbody again with the opposite hand in the span of a half measure might also be fairly annoying. So I might just go ahead and change the hand color of that one. Okay. So another thought. I think in the past when I've done this kind of pattern, I nudge the wall just a little bit like that. Just make it a little bit easier for the player. I'm not sure if that's necessary or not, so I'm going to experiment a little bit and just leave the wall as the devs intended, and see how that works in playtesting. Okay, so what do I want to do with these? I think maybe just kind of a simple. All right, where's the player here? The player is hitting left but leaning right. So I think I might just kind of do a fairly simple right, left, right with gold notes. Do you want a yellow circle or blue circle? And I'll go big with it. And if it's obnoxious, I can just kind of reel it in later. Okay. So I think thematically in the song, like I'm just gonna treat that as like a little reset. There's still the same complex layering that's been introduced throughout the song that wasn't there in the beginning. But nevertheless, I think I'm going to treat this as sort of a reset and go back to the beginning rhythmically. I don't remember. I was musing a lot about this yesterday. I don't remember exactly what I was intending to do with this section. But I recall letting this be a repeat of back here. And then doing sort of a mashup for the last two parts of it, since it's essentially the same rhythm repeated throughout the map, and I've just kind of done different variations of, you know, what parts of it I'm emphasizing. So yeah, this might be pretty close to being done, or you know, like done-ish. So probably I don't need. It's probably 8 repeats and not 12 repeats. So I think I only really need to go to about there. And then let's put those in there. So have I repeated one yet? I don't think I have. No, I haven't. So I'll just mirror paste that. How's that transition-wise? Okay. Now I don't want the player just standing here this whole time. Do I want to throw in a duck, or do I want to throw in a left wall? I'm thinking a left wall, just because this part is very like swing left, swing right, swing left. Well, maybe not so much left, but come back left and wind up for that. So I'm thinking. There we go. I'm thinking left wall to move them to the right, so they can come back to the left and whack those notes. Okay. I wouldn't mind putting a little bit more emphasis here. Maybe wall decorations, or I really haven't done very much flash effects. I think Goose sent me a map he was working on, and I noticed he was using flash effects, and I was like, you know what, I don't use flash effects. And then I started adding them into a different thing that I was working on, and I rather liked it. So maybe I'll test something out and see if putting a flash effect on each of these notes adds a satisfying amount of emphasis when playing the song. Okay. I think I'll move on then. So yeah, mirror pasted there. I think this is all going to be fine, and I won't have to tweak anything. But let's go through it and see. Okay, excellent. So let's grab this section. Okay. Normally, I think that is what I would do. I would just leave that there, and then move on. I think, though, for demonstration purposes, I'm actually gonna mix this up a little bit and explore explore note stacking just a little bit more with you. So I think, yeah, I think I'm just gonna get rid of this rail. Get rid of these, get rid of these, get rid of these, get rid of these. And then rather than maybe kind of listening to the strings again. Like there's not really a pluck of each string, but you can hear like individual notes that before kind of got simplified in the rail. So I'm thinking instead of that, doing like some orb stacks that hit each one of those individually. So I think those are every half measure. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think. Yeah, and then a hold on the 5th note. Okay. So let's see, how do I want to do this? Do I want to go like a big circle with it? Do I want to do like maybe 2 sets of 4? I'm thinking maybe a big circle that kind of starts and ends in the corner. And then on that last note, I can hold and trail off in the same way that I did before. Yeah. This guy's probably going to have to change or just go. Oop, did that show up in the recording? I hope not. Oh boy. If it didn't, then I will. Yeah, never mind. Yeah. So I was gonna go full circle. Do I want to go? I think I'll go counterclockwise instead of clockwise. Probably. I think that'll probably seem more natural. Probably doesn't make much difference. Okay. Alrighty. Then I believe I was going to have that trail off. Yep, I think that'll do. And since the orb stack is a little bit more complicated or tricky or than the rail, I don't think I'm gonna do like the offhanded clap thing. That might be a bit awkward. I don't know. But anyway, part of why I'm doing this is to illustrate another thing with orb stacks. So this is a much slower orb stack. Like the displacement between the notes given the amount of time that passes between them is substantially less. Also, there's just generally more time in between the notes. So again, if you're playing this on rhythm, you're just kind of smoothly moving your hand as you catch all these notes. It's very much like a rail. If you're playing force, you're going like bap it right to left, bap it left to right, bap it right to left, etc., etc. It plays substantially differently. This particular example of an orb stack isn't quite so bad in that, at least as a force player, you can bap each individual note reasonably comfortably. As opposed to like the previous orb stack where it's just tricky to do it. But be aware as a mapper that the force player is going to have a substantially different experience from the rhythm player on these sorts of things. And if your intention with this orb stack was like, oh yeah, this is a nice slow part of the song that the player can just kind of make a nice big smooth movement through, that's not what the rhythm player is going to be doing. He's going to be, shaking his arm back and forth relatively vigorously. But yeah, gonna go ahead and do that for this section for demonstration purposes. So let's copy those, mirror paste. Okay. And then I'd probably redo this section to keep with the theme of orb stacks that we've been doing for this part. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. Do something like that. Although I am cross-body at the moment, is that okay? Okay. Yeah, I might do something like this. Let's get notes out of the way. Normally I would just select and delete, but I'm not sure if I want to delete the obstacles or not. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I think I was gonna go other hand, also cross body, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that seems pretty good. I don't think I want these obstacles to be quite this low. Unless, do I want to put those crouches back in? Would that be interesting? That might be pretty good. These are all low enough that you could do the crouches. Yeah, let's give that a try. Okay. Do I want to play test these? Like, I'm pretty sure I know how these are going to feel. Yeah, I feel confident enough that's fine. And then this is all copy paste, so I know how that is. I feel reasonably confident in this part, but it's short enough that I don't know if I want to take a break just to play test that part. And then I've already play tested this stuff before I started talking to you this time. So yeah, I think we'll just kind of keep moving forward. All right, so I think, yeah, let's break this up into 4 sections. And there. Okay, and then let's get this stuff out of there, because I wasn't actually intending to put it there. I was just trying to test the timing of things. Okay, so since I was going to do kind of a mashup type thing with this, I think probably do that part. Actually, do I just have 4 variations? I think I've got the basic, and then I've got the variation of the basic with the little offhand beat thrown in there. This is different enough that this probably won't be part of the mashup. And I've got that, and I've got that. So yeah, I've got four patterns. So I'll grab the first 2 there, and it's here. Okay, and I'll paste those in there, and then okay. Grab those 2 there. Now transition-wise, let's see if I want to paste or mirror paste. Ah, yeah, that reminds me, that little guy there. Where was that guy a problem? I think it was the lead in the 2 repeat. Yeah. Torn between swapping the handedness of that or just dropping the note entirely. Because I feel like it's a weird transition. Like, it's not unreasonable to have the player like go left hand to left hand. Actually, maybe I'll just put that down there. Set. Or maybe I want to go a little bit more crossbody with it. Yeah, probably do that. Hopefully I can remember in playtesting to keep that in mind. But we'll see. Alright, so yeah, we were back here where there's probably a similar conundrum with the transition. Because from here to here, the player, if they're playing Force anyway, is gonna be winding up. So I don't know if I want to keep that handedness there. I almost certainly don't want to do like I did with the other transition and like put it there, because then it's like, oh yeah, let's bring your hand all the way out here and farther and try to wind up to hit those in like half a bar. So that's not going to be good. I was thinking, do I want to paste or mirror paste? Simple solution might be to just mirror paste, but that to that might be a little bit of a reach, even if you're reaching right with your right hand and left with your left hand. Again, there's the wind up issue. So maybe mirror paste and just kind of bring this guy a little bit more towards the middle. That'll probably do. I'm kind of wondering if I even want to bring it a little bit crossbody, but okay, yeah, that might work out. Another thing I was thinking is like, do I want to necessarily keep them in the same order? But I probably do, since like the mashup, there's a case to be made for the mashup being sort of a recap of the whole song. But also, since I do the wall dancing at the last part of it, and there's another one of these sections at the end of it, that yeah, that'll probably be the right transition. Okay. Yeah, we might be just about done. I mean, I think I probably want to go play it and make sure that everything's good. But, yeah. As you can see, like, where was I when we started this particular section? Or a section of video, anyway. Like, I think I was all the way back here on the timeline. So as you can see, when you're a hack like me and you copy-paste things, the second half of the map goes pretty quick sometimes. But yeah, I'm gonna go playtest. Alright, I'm back. I'm reasonably pleased with how well that came together. I think there are only a couple of issues that jumped out at me. One is for this section where I was doing these. Maybe it'd be more obvious in FreeCam, where it's like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and then it's the same hand for this note here, where it goes ba-dum ba-dum bum. Yeah, it basically goes instead of it being like 1 2 3 4 1 2, it's like 1 2 3 4 5 2. Like, it's kind of awkward. I'm not sure why or how I did it that way, because it should have been obviously bad without playing it. I probably just kind of absent-mindedly did some copy-paste kind of thing and just didn't really think about these two notes. So let's go ahead and make that right-handed. Nudge it a little bit. Is that enough space? Yeah, that should be fine. And then, oh, I'm on like half measure step. That's why it's skipping over things. I do kind of want there to be a bit of symmetry with that one, though. Let's go ahead and nudge that up. So, big swipe, little swipe, hit. Yeah, that should do. Is that the first instance of that? Yeah. but gotta remember to get rid of that guy there, because that's not in the rhythm for this part. Okay. And then this repeats here. Okay, and then it repeats here. Okay. Let's see. There was a transition where I was like, is this transition going to be okay? I think it was right before the 2 repeat. Yeah, it was this guy here. It seemed fine, so I don't think I need to do anything with that. I just remember saying that I needed to make a note to keep that in mind. I don't know if I kept it in mind exactly, but it did occur to me that, like, oh yeah, that was fine. Note stack section was fine. Not my preference, but it played well enough. The flash effects here didn't really do much, and it could be because there aren't obstacles. I think the flash effects kind of light up the obstacles. So maybe I'll also put decorative obstacles there for decoration, and then see if that adds a little pop to the flash effect there, or if it's too much. That's another possibility, but probably not. So let's go right wall, slide that out of the way, tiny bit forward, left wall, slide that out of the way. Did I go? I went 2 outside the circle with that. Okay. Drag, copy. Paste it. And paste it. Okay. Okay. And then I'll want to copy all of these, because these repeat at the end. Okay. Yeah, so let's see. I guess time for a quick play test again. I think those 2 changes will be fine, and I don't expect there to be more changes. It did occur to me that back towards the beginning of the song, the sort of, like, you might remember, this was a double hit, and then that was a left hit, and this was a double hit, where I was kind of doing the, you know, bum bum, but also with the offbeat in the middle. I think this section's probably fine. It might be a little tricky for expert, doing the, like, staggered hit, left right, right crossbody, double hit. But I'm not sure if it's something that needs to be changed or not. So I don't know. Maybe I'll mull that over a little bit. I think we're pretty much there, though. I don't know. Gonna go play test. All right. Did another round of play testing. A couple minor things I think to work on. This transition here? Yeah. I think I'm going to take out this wall right here. Come on, game. Oh, wait, maybe... No, I'm pretty sure this isn't one where I deliberately set it like a 64th off. I think the map editor is just derping on me. Why are you doing this to me, map editor? Fine. Okay, So the reason I'm doing this is this didn't so much happen to me, but I think it might happen to a player where you're doing your wall dancing thing. It's pretty relaxed, but like it's a little tricky because sometimes I like to throw those crossbody wall hits in there, and then you get to about here where you go, ooh, that's a lot of notes. And maybe with this wall right there, that the player might just not perceive that note. Because the wall does kind of obscure the note a bit. And the combination of that with, ooh, that's a lot of notes, how am I going to do that? Might cause a player to just miss that note. So, I don't think the crossbody wall hit is so important that I want to risk that. I think I'm pretty okay with... actually, it wasn't even a crossbody wall hit anymore. I swapped the handedness. So this might just be an easy note to throw in there in the transition to just kind of keep the beat while the player is about to transition into this. Second thing for this part, you might recall me mentioning that when you take the center or diagonal walls and you move them around sideways and you place them low, that they usually appear higher than they are. Yeah, that's kind of happening. They're not so high that they're clipping the notes or anything like that. Like, it's probably fine. They're just high enough to feel a little bit like they're invading my personal space. So I think I'm just gonna nudge them down a few more. Is this 1/64th off? Did I do that deliberately? I don't think I did. Rawr. I'm like 80% sure this is map editor. Let's scroll around a bit, select some bookmarks, come back to it. Actually, I was here, but I really should be starting this process back here. And it doesn't really matter, I guess. Yep, they were on the quarter note, but map editor was being derpy. So just moving each of these down 3. And then now I can grab those, copy, mirror, paste. And then grab all of these, copy. Nope, mirror, paste. There we go. And paste. And a mirror, paste. And then do that up here. Sorry, Belgian. Come on, map editor. Get on the measure, map editor. I worry that if I paste while the map editor is off the measure, that will somehow skew it to being off the measure in actuality. Okay, yeah, it seems to be fixing itself now. Okay, and then at the end. Okay, so there was that, still don't really know if the flash notes are doing all that much, but it's fine, no reason to take them out. And then I think I am going to experiment with taking that little guy out of there, as I talked about earlier, and see if that makes this feel a little less tricky. We'll see. So I think that was the first instance of that. Okay, then we're back to the original rhythm, and then that appears here at the end again, I believe. Yeah. Okie dokie. I think that's probably all I want to do. Yeah, I think that's about it. So I might go ahead and move on to, don't know what the proper term is, making a less difficult version of this map. Like downstepping the difficulty. So let's just copy paste everything over into hard. Let me go back to easy where I'd copy paste stuff for in case I needed to revert changes, but I don't. I almost never do need to revert the changes, but I do like to, if I think I'm making a risky change, just copy paste the whole map into easy in case I need to like go back on those changes. Because you can only control Z so many times, I think. Okay. So, downscaling it to hard. This is another one of those things, kind of like my copy-paste hackery, that I kind of feel like it's not worth remapping the whole map again. Because hopefully, like on Expert, I've mapped some decent patterns. I could try to reinvent the wheel again, or I can just scale those patterns back a little bit, simplify them a little bit, and they'll probably be reasonably pleasurable on hard as well. So yeah, that's what I do. There's also, quite frankly, a matter of I don't really play normal and hard maps myself, so is it personally worth it to me to spend a lot of time working on something that I don't play? Because a fair amount of the reward of mapping for me is making maps that I personally like to play. And so if I'm spending a lot of time making a map that I don't play, that throws that whole thing off. Not to say that, like, like when I play test the hard and normal maps, it's still kind of fun. Like it's nice to kind of relax to go through the song and play it. But it's not something that I like normally do. So yeah, let's see what jumps out at me here. I think this lead-in is probably perfectly fine for hard. I'm not doing anything tricky whatsoever. Okay. So getting into it, probably not necessary, but I might just go ahead and take this wall out. And then I think that will probably be fine. I might nudge this in just a wee bit too. Okay, so I think these pairs of swipes might be too much for hard. Yeah. I think as they are, they're probably a bit much for hard. One solution might be to make this section more visually simple and keep these pairs within the blue circle. So the player isn't thinking about like weaving through things. He can just kind of comfortably stand in the middle and go swipey swipey hit. That might be a fine solution to making this hard appropriate. Another thing is to just simplify the rhythm and say get rid of the second part of those triplet or doubles and just keep the first note. And that might be fine too. I think, though, I'm going to experiment a bit and see if that feels appropriately easy. So yeah, I think I might go ahead and put the center walls back in, but I might move them farther out of the way so that they feel less like an obstacle to the player. And I think I can just mirror paste that there without, yep, that'll do. Okay. And then this should repeat a bit. So okay. What did I do? I thought, oh, I moved that down the timeline accidentally. There we go. Okay. Wait a minute. I just copy pasted this from expert, and I thought I got rid of that little guy there. Did I bungle it? Quite possible. Yep, there he is. I think I started that here, and I just didn't consider that, like, that's not the first instance of that. I guess we'll find out. This brings up another ancillary benefit to making a downscale difficulty like this, is that you're gonna pour through your higher difficulty map again with a fine-tooth comb as you downscale it to the lower difficulty. So it just kind of adds another layer of QC to the whole process. Alright, where was I? I don't think I was that far. No, I was that far. Okay. Yeah, so let's get rid of that guy. Now what do I want to do with these? I'd kind of like to keep the alternating hands thing going, but I don't know if for a hard player going, because this right here is not only like staggered notes, but it's crossbody pretty hard with the left hand here. Well, crossbody pretty hard for like hard. Yeah. Let's go ahead and nudge those out a bit like I did with the other section. Doing a little pantomime right now. Yeah, maybe all it really needs is a little nudge towards a natural orientation rather than a cross-handed orientation. And then we can preserve the staggers. That's going to be easier to read, I think. This might still be too hard for hard. But I think to the extent that I can, I'm leaning towards preserving the rhythm and just simplifying the pattern rather than simplifying the rhythm. But I think that's just semi-arbitrary on my part at the moment. Okay. I think likewise probably want to take that wall out. Now, are these going to be fine? That might be a little bit too busy for hard, like these 4 hits. I might just let this note be silent. or, you know, not have an orb for that note, I guess. You know, you get the idea. And let the player have just like a wee respite here before getting back to it. I don't know if that works quite as well here, though. Yeah, I kind of feel like that note's important. So maybe that's not a good solution back here. Or maybe it's a fine solution back here, it's just I can't replicate that elsewhere, so maybe I don't want to do it. This might be a little bit easier if I keep that right-handed. And then rather than it being like a series of 4 left-handed notes, it's a series of 2 right-handed notes and 3 left-handed notes. I'm thinking of making that a little bit more relaxed. That might be a little too much. Maybe just kind of put it there. Maybe it just needs a little nudge and not like a big nudge. Nope. Okay. Since this is kind of a pair now, I think maybe lead with the right hand and keep that consistent with the last pair. Okay, then we're back to the first pattern again. Okay, I'm not particularly confident that this is going to be simplified enough for hard, particularly the doubles. These doubles, pretty good chance that they're okay. I'm a little bit less sure about the doubles that are staggered with the alternating hands up here. But yeah, I'll do a little testing to find out. Usually, like this may or may not be useful to you because your experience with what's difficult and what isn't might be different. I kind of feel like master maps you run, expert maps you jog, hard maps you walk, normal maps you crawl, easy maps you're just trying to remember which hand is which. So usually when I'm doing hard, I'm going for like something that's pretty subdued. And I've kind of had a person or two play test hard and tell me that it seems about right and that they're not bored. So so yeah, I don't know, just expressing my thoughts. Gonna go playtest.